Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Hi, James.
Hey, Aandraya. Welcome back.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good.
Great.
Good, thanks.
Well, anything to catch up on, or should we get on into it?
Yeah, well, let's see. I was gonna ask you maybe if you would share what your process looks like. When I do a daily practice, many times I find it hard to unblend and get to that self energy. Okay. And then sometimes it does happen, just naturally. So maybe it's just that I'm, feeling more agitated or anxious. Mm-hmm. But I was just wondering maybe if you could share with me what you do.
My first question back to you is that practice proactive, or are you doing it once parts are already activated?
Well, they're usually always activated. I mean, yeah, probably once they're activated.
Yeah, I mean, I guess another way to ask is, are you setting aside a time, and this is when I do my parts work, or is it, waiting?
I see
waiting
what you're
for,
saying. Yeah. Yeah, like a set time to just do it. Yeah, I have been. Yeah, well, the last week I have been just trying to do it.
Great.
Whenever. Yeah.
Okay. So you're in your place, and you're. Are you trying to? Do you have an idea? No. When you start, are you thinking there's a particular part I'd like to get in touch with, or do you have more?
What I do? I use the guided meditations from Schwartz's book, and there's a couple of them that I find really useful. Because if I try to do it on my own, I haven't been successful to do it on my own.
Okay. And
I get too distracted. I need the guidance.
Okay. So would you say that's the main interference, is the distraction?
Yeah, my thoughts just get distracted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which would be parts.
Yes. And is there a particular, does that distraction have a particular flavor? Is it usually the go clean the kitchen kind of voice, or what's...
Well, it depends, but it's...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's usually...
I got things to do.
It's usually this dilemma that I have been dealing with for the last, year or so, that I'm finding myself in, and that stuck feeling. So I'm kind of ruminate about it and look for answers, look for strategies, talk myself out of feeling badly about not doing things. Or the other way it will look is, things that, it'll be things that I'm going to do or that I'm planning on doing, or, the options that I have in front of me. So I go over those. Right.
Okay. So that sounds to me like kind of that task manager part.
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's normal for that to be one of the most dominant, because they're the ones that are helping us get so much done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I have that, I have the same, that's usually the first line of defense for my parts work is the same task oriented part that...
Yeah, task manager and problem solving.
Right.
For me.
Right, like you said, you have all these options of even if it's doing self-care and self-work, there's endless options for how you could be doing that, or...
Yeah, right. Like what is there a way to like, how do you deal with the overthinking parts, if you have any? I'm sure, it's whatever overthinking is still subjective, but I just found myself even in the last half hour and today overthinking. Like, I really found myself thinking, oh, okay, what part am I going to now deal with today on this call?
Sure,
like planning,
yeah.
like strategizing.
Yes.
Sort of like,
that makes sense. You want to be efficient. You want to do the first things first, and
it's just so kind of annoying, like, well, just can't wait and see what comes up,
Right.
It's just,
yeah. So that's where I'd start.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the part that needs your attention.
Yeah. So frustrating that it's just, okay. And you're successful. You've been doing this for a while. You're successful at unblending, and like what kind of difference has this made in your life?
All of the difference. It's hard to express.
Are you aware of all the the 5 or 7 C's, whatever they are? Like, do you check in and see, like, oh yeah, like this does show up in my life more?
Yeah, that's one metric, I would say. Yeah. I think that, we all have different parts that are most dominant. So let's say I have these 2 or 3 protectors that are most dominant, and maybe I have these 2 or 3 exiles that are most dominant. So in my system, seeing those particular ones relax and being able to just communicate with me in a more easy way, getting less triggered, less provoked when they don't get their way, which just happens all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I've noticed that too. That you're less triggered, for sure. A little more relaxed, which is been a big thing for me in the last year. You know what? I realized that I was thinking like, wow, I went from extreme brain fog and fatigue to the opposite of high anxiety and no fatigue and brain fog in a very short amount of time. And it was, that's kind of like a shock to my system. Right.
And I imagine the part that kind of rescues you from the brain fog is the high anxiety. This is the dynamic I think we were talking about last time. There's the brain fog, go back to bed part, and then there's the do everything, get everything done part.
Yeah, and I even see that I'm really glad that the fatigue and brain fog part is not an issue anymore, because I actually would rather be in this state because I feel more alive. Right. And even though I'm struggling and it's frustrating and it is limiting and challenging me, and I want it to calm down, it's still like I feel healthy. I feel physically healthy now.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not, unfortunately it was a 180, it went from one extreme to the other. It wasn't like I really, really had this expectation of healing from Lyme just being a gradual healing and get better and then just ease into life. And it is like that in a way, but I never expected that I would have this sudden onset of anxiety and extreme anxiety and what's happening. On the other hand, it's allowed me to become, start running, which is just been brilliant.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you like to work with that part today?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you can start by just noticing how it shows up in your body, what it feels like when that part is active.
Yeah, it's been showing up a lot since yesterday as vibrating throughout my body, feeling like I'm on adrenaline, high adrenaline. My face, I can feel it in my face. It's like sometimes it feels like I'm going to jump out of my skin, but at the same time, like I still when I go running and it feels great. And then when I'm at home, it's sort of like I just feel all these sensations in my body and don't do anything really.
Okay. And so when it's doing its thing, how do you feel towards it? Or how do you feel towards it right now?
Really frustrated and irritated.
Right.
I want it to go away. And I
Makes sense.
Start searching for answers to calm. I start coming up with my strategies to calm it down. And then I start reminding myself, no, you just have to be with it and not try to calm it down or make it go away because there's nothing wrong with it.
Right. But it is showing up in a way that's unpleasant and causing a lot of anxiety. Yeah. So we could say maybe there's something wrong with the relationship that you have with it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've gotten kind of lately more and more is that, the more I try to make it go away, that just makes it worse. So,
of course.
Yeah, it's the relationship, right? Because if I'm trying to force it to go away, it will get stronger and say, no, I'm not going away. And it's when in actuality, there's no danger. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong around me. It's just my body, and I'm here, and then there's space around me, and there's things. And so I try to just I'm really trying more and more to not try to make it go away.
Great. So the part that is so frustrated and annoyed by it, see if you can ask that part for some space.
Okay.
So that you can get to know this other part better.
Okay.
Is it all right with that?
Yes.
Great. Okay. And now how are you feeling towards this task-oriented part?
It's wanting to, it's just kind of standing there.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel towards it?
Just a little bit intimidated.
And what's that concern? Yeah, let's hear more from that concern part.
Yeah, it's just really strong and doesn't want to back down.
Right. Yeah. And we're not going to ask it to back down or change. We're just going to try to get to know it and see if we can offer it anything. So see if you can turn to that part that has that concern and ask it also for some space.
Which part?
The part that feels intimidated by it.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
And it's coming across as kind of angry.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to try to learn about that anger that it has.
Okay. All right.
Are you up for that? Are you feeling curious?
Yeah.
Great. So let this part know that you're curious about it. And just ask it what it wants you to know.
Yeah, it's really angry. It's just angry and frustrated. It feels like it's been pushed around.
Yeah, it sounds like it with these other parts that are trying to manage it. Mm-hmm.
It's been pushed around. It's just tired and just can't, has this feeling of not being able to do anything and do it right.
Yeah. And does it all make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let the part know that that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just saying it just really doesn't want to do this stuff.
Yeah.
it's too hard and it's just overwhelming.
Yeah. And what's it afraid would happen if it didn't do this stuff?
It will get in trouble.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It will get in trouble, and it's sort of like it wants to just not care about
Right.
these things.
It wants to not care, but there's a part in there that's so concerned about getting in trouble
Mm-hmm.
and the pain that would come along with that it can't just not care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just let it know that you're getting all that.
Yeah, I told it that I understand that it doesn't want to get in trouble. It doesn't want to fail and mess up and do the wrong thing. And yeah.
Yeah. And how long has it been doing this job of trying to keep you out of trouble?
A long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been, a very long time since I was very young. Mm-hmm. And, it was, I was the oldest, and my mom was very demanding and very particular about things. And so I can see it's been going on since it was very young.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, probably as long as I can remember that I was, had to do chores and things since I was just really little.
Mm-hmm. So this part's been working really hard to protect you from that getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And everything that would come along with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking around for things to do, things to, like at home, things to clean up, like, making sure everything on the list is done.
Yeah. Let's see if you can show it some appreciation for its intention and all the hard work it's done and did for you then.
Okay. Yeah. I'm telling it that I'm appreciating it for making me have learned a lot of how to do a lot of things and be really efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Be really efficient and know how to do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I can see that part, like also figured out how to do a lot of things on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm curious. Go ahead.
Over and above what really was even necessary.
Yeah. It's worked really hard.
Yeah. Sometimes out of just interest, but sometimes out of, force.
Right. Kind of curious about the getting in trouble. If you could just ask it, what would be so bad about that?
Okay.
Again, kind of back when it needed to do that job, what would be so bad about getting in trouble?
Yeah, it was just, disappointing. people.
Mm-hmm.
A fear of disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And just, probably like just if I didn't do something right, just get reprimanded or yelled at or have to do it again.
Yeah. Sounds painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have like even any specific, I can't think of many specific things even. It's just like this ongoing sense of it's got to be done a certain way. Right. I mean, I was like pretty good at doing stuff, so I didn't probably get in trouble that much for not doing it right. You know what I mean? But there was
this part had a lot of control.
Yeah, so I don't know why there is so much fear, actually.
Yeah, we can learn more about that.
Of getting in trouble. I think that was the getting in trouble part was more about the religious part of that. It's more about that. It's not so much about doing because I was always really good at cleaning my room and doing these kinds of things, but very capable. But the getting in trouble was more like moral issues.
Okay.
And it comes back to the whole, I think it's the religion.
So there would be some moral kind of judgment. Right. Yeah. And it wanted to protect you from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you appreciate it for that, for its intention to do that? Yeah, great.
Mm-hmm.
And what would it rather be doing?
I don't know why that is what I'm not seeing is why I was capable to do, chores and tasks and things and do jobs. That why now? So it doesn't make sense. This part. Why now? It's so hard on me.
How old does it think that you are?
I don't know.
Ask it.
Oh, okay. Wait, which part am I asking now? The taskmaster part?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it must be around 8.
Is that how it responded? It said it thinks you're around 8?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's why it's still working so hard. Because it thinks that you're 8. So now you can let it know your real age.
So I'm seeing like, I'm going to like, oh, well, I was really, I guess there's just pressure. It's the pressure. it's the pressure to do these things. It's not that I got in trouble so much. It's more around the pressure to do things right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a part in you, I'm guessing maybe an 8-year-old part, that still feels stuck back there, still feels that pressure, still feels the moral judgment, believes that about the world, about her world.
Yeah, trying to just make everything okay at home, and like that's just, but that's just not happening now in my real life, you know. So,
right, but parts get stuck in time, just like this part is.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. How did it react when you gave it your real age?
It's surprised, and it's wondering, like, well, why it's a problem now? Why is it an issue?
Yeah. So this is where I am assuming we would be talking about an exile, that there's, again, maybe a different part, maybe a young part, maybe an 8-year-old, who's still kind of back there and holding those feelings. And you can just ask this part, see if this makes sense to it. You can ask it, like, if we were able to go and help that young part, would that help this protector, this part that is working so hard to relax?
Let me ask. Yeah, it just feels, I think so. The demanding that I want to be in action and doing something all the time. That's what it's, and at attention and not relax.
Right.
That's what it needs help with.
Right. You could ask if it feels like it protects another part. Since you're not 8 years old, you could ask, is it protecting another part? Is there a part that's like around that age that it's protecting?
No.
Okay.
Nothing I can see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, it's that same time, that that same period of time when my parents got separated and there was so much chaos, and that I felt like I had to hold it together. And with my two younger brothers, and just kind of just go on with things, just be okay with how things were, and just go along with what was happening.
Yeah. And what was it like?
Just a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, not knowing if my parents were separated for a year, and I think they were going to get divorced, but then, they ended up working things out. But that was a lot of chaos, because my mom just didn't know what she was going to do. She had 3 kids, and I was the oldest. And I think that's, that is the time probably when I got the most just I had to become very strong.
Right. And that's what this part helped you with.
Yeah.
And again, kind of in this model, when a protector comes up, it usually exiles another part. So that's why I'm kind of asking about and looking for the part that had that confusion, that had that fear of disappointment, the part that this protector wanted to make go away or push away.
Yeah, I'm not sure. 'Cause we already have dealt with this part, but
We've dealt with an 8-year-old that was afraid of disappointment, afraid of disappointing people. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a part that you're able to connect with presently or recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and it's been going between like that feeling, that task oriented part and the anger. It's been I've been going between these feelings of the task oriented part, then being angry and being sad because of just loss. I don't know. I'm getting it's getting muddled, like kind of muddied now.
Okay. Maybe you could ask this protective part what it needs from you.
Okay.
Let it know you want to help it relax, if that's what it's interested in.
Yeah, it's always the same thing. It's about going very slowly, taking things one step at a time.
That's what it's saying it would like?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's had kind of a change of heart from wanting to do more tasks to...
Yeah, it's just tired. It's like
Yeah.
it can't, and it's just overwhelmed mentally with thinking, going through all these different this whole array, this whole list of things that needs to get done, that I have to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very tired and wants to just take one thing at a time,
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's just fear of getting, there's just even fear of getting started.
And that is, this part has the fear of getting started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because of these last years of being sick. It's like, wow, it's can't even make small moves. It's just,
Are you sure this isn't the go back to bed part that has the fear of getting started and thinks that you can't make small moves?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Yeah, it looks like so like I see something in my place that needs to be done, or that I have in mind to do, and then I just see it, and it's like this adrenaline rush in my body over the smallest thing, and then I just want to go lay down.
Okay.
Like, oh, it's this feeling in my gut.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is going to just be too hard. That is going to be so overwhelming to do that. And it's like, they're really basic things, James. They are not,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about taking on some project.
Yeah. So what I'm wanting to do is really try to get clear on which parts are which.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my own kind of theories, and I have, just my experience of seeing other people go through this.
Mm-hmm.
So I already have kind of my biases of like, I'm thinking this is this part, I'm thinking this is that part. And I'm not doubting what you're saying, but I'm trying to help get clear on which part's which. Is the task part, wants to do the task part different from the go back to bed part? And is the wants to do the task part different from the fear of disappointing part?
No, I don't know, because they all seem like the same thing.
Okay. Earlier you said you could see this part and it looked angry.
Yeah, because there is definitely an angry part that is angry that I can't do this stuff.
Do what?
Get on
tasks?
with my life. Yeah, the tasks, everything that I have in mind that I want to do. Yeah. That the anxiety, that the anxiety is keeping me stopped.
Okay.
Like it's like literally like a mental block to do these things.
Okay. In our last conversation, I was under the impression that these were two different parts: the go back to bed part, and the jump into the cold water part, the superhero.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So they must be two different parts, but right now they're just not showing up as two different parts.
Okay.
Yeah, because the idea was like, oh, you could actually work together. I don't know.
They could, or they also don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think the goal here is self-leadership, which means parts can report to you and you can communicate with parts.
Right.
And they don't really have to get along.
Right.
They can have wildly different wants and preferences.
Okay. Right. I forget. I do forget that about the self-leadership. That's when I do the meditation that he has on the self energy and getting present to that is really helpful, because otherwise I completely forget about that whole piece. And then
can you describe a little, like summarize what that meditation is?
I get overwhelmed. The parts completely take over. And I'm like, wait a minute. Right. I have self energy here. It is there. It's just,
which is all very normal. It's all very normal. That's what it's all about. Can you just summarize what that meditation, like what that's like?
Yeah. It's asking whatever parts show up. Okay, here's one that I really like, is the path one. And you're going to go on you set out on a path that you might be familiar with. And then you ask your parts if they will stay back.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't want to, sometimes they're fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just set off on the path.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's, if thoughts come up and things, then that's probably a part. And then you can just ask it to go back, but of course you can't force them. So if they're not willing to go back, then you just stay back and you get to know them.
Right.
So that's the one. And then it leads into the other one,
So is that one effective for you sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes you get into that self energy.
Yeah.
Did you get to that place in this conversation with me?
No, the part, they're too strong.
Okay. All right. Very good to know. I think that explains a lot. It's
they're too strong, and they're even not even. I can't even distinguish which part is which.
Right.
And then there's another meditation that is. Do you have the book?
I have all the books, and I feel like I've heard all the meditations.
Okay, I'm just trying to remember. It's let me see. Oh, I'm trying to see because if I see the title of it, I'll remember better. What? Accessing the self through unblending. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a simple thing where you're like just asking your parts to step back and then noticing the self energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. But sometimes that's kind of a dilemma for me because sometimes I just can't get there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to calibrate. I'm trying to think about, things I could have done differently or suggested differently in this conversation to help with that. I'm thinking back to the beginning. So, you mentioned this part. You mentioned having some frustration towards it. And you said that part was able to step back. You mentioned having intimidation about it. And you said that part was able to step back. You then said that you could see this part and that it was angry. And you started learning about its fears and you said it made sense to you. And that you also mentioned being curious about it. And then you did some appreciating of it.
Yeah, the angry part, that's, it's been kind of dominant.
Yes. So
lately.
The reason I'm summarizing all this is I'm trying to learn or ask which of those steps felt like maybe they weren't complete or maybe we could have done differently to unblend from parts, or did some other part sneak in that we didn't catch?
Yeah, you know what? It's like, it might just be my state of mind today that I just have a general kind of confusion going on.
Yeah.
Does that ever happen to you? Or you just
happens to me all the time.
Okay, that's what it feels like. A lot of different feelings, sort of like I felt going from angry to annoyed and to scared. Just super like a huge mix, like more than normal. That's what I think is going on.
Sure, and that's normal.
Usually
too.
I can focus in. I can definitely focus in.
Yeah,
on
If I have a headache or I'm feeling tired, this is all much more difficult. And
that's what it feels
You can hear
like.
lots of conversations that I've recorded where I'm not feeling great, and it shows because I have my parts that are taking over, and I'm having trouble unblending and recognizing them and having that self energy.
Yeah, I think it is my mental state because I feel confused, but I feel like I'm happy to say that I feel physically okay because
Great.
I don't have any pains or anything, which is which is so great. But
yeah, and I want to just take some responsibility in that also. Like, there are, I have my job to do here too, and so if you're feeling confused, then I'm looking for things that I can do differently to help with that. So
yeah, if I knew of something, I would tell you. It's sort of that it's hard for me to concentrate for some reason.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I was just saying, don't beat yourself up too much because maybe I'm being confusing, and I'm open to that.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
it's
new
that,
at this,
though.
Really.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't think it's that. I do because I'm having a different experience with myself, even that like, wow, I can't even. My thoughts are really unfocused.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep doing the daily meditations that I can listen to. I have it on audio, which is so helpful.
Yeah.
And I kind of go between here, I have them right here. There's one called unblending and embodying. There's a daily IFS meditation. Yeah, I just go, I try them. I switch them up, and it's good because sometimes I haven't done it for a couple days, and then I'm completely not even aware of that self energy.
Yeah.
And then when I get back to it, I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I sort of like become this like become when I'm in myself, I'm kind of become like the teacher, like, oh, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Yep. You're the adult in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm here. Everything's okay. There's nothing wrong. That is like the best. That's the best feeling ever.
How would it feel to, just when you think about doing this in the future, to deliberately target maybe this task part? Because, it is often first in line. It is maybe most dominant. I feel like it's been, clear and present in our past couple conversations.
Yeah, every single time.
Yeah. So it might, I'm just suggesting that it might make sense to, instead of, leaving it totally open, to say, I'm going to try to meet this part today, and I'm going to try to meet that same part tomorrow, and that same part the day after.
Okay.
Yeah. You did. I mean, you asked what worked for me, and that's what worked for me is I would put parts on the calendar and say, I'll spend 10 days saying my part's work is for this part. I'll still say hi to everybody else, but if a part says that it has a lot to tell me, or if I know that there's more in there, or if it's still loud, then I'll just keep going back to it.
And did you find, so it's not just, because when I look at that task oriented part, I can just see it all the way through my life, how it showed up.
Right.
So do you visit it at all those stages if it comes up?
So I'm assuming that this task part is a protector.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
When I think about looking for stages in life, I'm asking protectors what they're afraid of, who they're protecting, really. And often they will be pretty clear about certain ages, and maybe it has maybe this protector will say, well, I remember doing this when I was 5. I remember this coming up when I was 8 and 12. And it might have multiple, but often there are kind of more, just stronger memories around certain times when this part had to get really strong. Or you ask it how old it thinks you are, it says 8. That usually leads you to exiles and helps narrow down specific ages so that you're not just thinking about every time you ever felt like you needed to be busy, which I'm guessing is a lot, right? So that's a way of kind of narrowing down specific exiles, specific, usually painful feelings, memories that you can then treat and see as separate parts.
Okay.
And they are, what's wonderful about working with exiles, which you've had experience with, is that they are typically much more rich and faceted. They are really like whole people, whereas these protectors are often kind of black and white. They have, just in my experience, often these protectors have a set of tools and they use them and they're tired. And they often don't have that depth of character because they're just pushing that same button over and over to try to solve a problem.
Yeah, exactly. They use the same thing, the same technique, the same same go-to every time.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna do that then. I'm gonna continue to work with this task-oriented part.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for that. For those.
It's about unblending. It's about unblending from that protector and seeing it and speaking to it from a place of self.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you, James.
Okay. Let me know how it goes.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.